one of the building blocks for being wise is the belief that human beings are bent towards evil. There's a bent towards evil within our anthropology, the way we're made. And so this is a huge dividing wall between Christians, the Judeo-Christian belief about the world and sort of the secular idea of the world. And at first blush, it sounds to people very much like very judgmental, and like, why would you say that? Why would look at a baby? They're basically good. Like they're born, they're good, they're and it's always society that corrupts, and so they see Christians or Judeo Christians as being hyper judgmental against humanity by holding this position that we get from the Bible. The ironic thing about this is that if you believe that people are basically good, you become the most judgmental kind of person imaginable, because the only explanation for why you're doing bad things is something that all your inclinations are good. And so you must really be an outlier of an evil, horrible person if you're doing bad things. If all your heart-based inclinations are towards good and you've resisted all of that, then of course you must judge people extremely harshly. It also causes people to believe that every bit of evil must be societal or come from some kind of systemic cause, because if you just left people alone, they would be good. And therefore, if people stop being good, there's always going to be a societal reason. This is why leftists cannot judge Hamas for what's going on in the Gaza Strip. Because the only explanation, if every one of those children that are now grown up and have joined Hamas, if every single one of them are basically good and have all this goodness inclined to them, then it must be the horrible circumstances that Israel has enforced on the Gaza Strip, the Palestinians, the Hamas members, that caused all this evil. So they will then blame others. In other words, when you believe that people are basically evil, that there is an inclination towards evil, then you tend to have a lot of grace for humans, because you know that they're fighting in a really difficult uphill battle to become good. And then you want to have all kinds of structures focused on how to disciple or grow the individual. If you think that people are born basically good, then you don't need to do anything for the individual. Everything goes against society and these societal things that are caused. So racism, for
Whoever's in
example,
power.
yeah, that's always the explanation, is some kind of bad. That's why we have to get control of power. That's why we have to somehow create a utopian society, because it's the only way to make sure that society doesn't continuously corrupt people that are basically good. So this, you guys, you have to understand how like this just changes the nature, and it makes people unwise at the very foundation of their thinking, because all of their thinking then gets predicated on this basic assumption. And so one of the things that Dennis Prager is constantly pointing out is we have to start with this incredibly deep foundational first principle. What do you think about humanity? Are humans basically good and corrupted by kind of evil systems, evil societies, people that have resisted all this goodness in their heart and become evil and then are creating this for the next generation? Or do you think that people are in a terrible fight inside of their own heart against evil inclinations, and that what we all need to do is go down to the level of the individual and help them, help rescue them, and help train them and give them access to divine revelation, to good training. So there's a lot here to unpack, but I love this theme of Dennis Prager's, that he's boiled it down to this single foundational belief, theology of what do you think about humanity?